Page 2, find the x-intercepts. That means let y be 0, and that leaves x equals 16. When y is 0, x is 16. Everything else drops out. Y-intercepts means let x be 0, and I would have 4y squared equals 16. I could take the square root of both sides, but that would leave 2y and plus or minus 4. Usually you divide out the 4 first, and you get y squared equals 4, and so y equals plus or minus 2. Writing it as intercepts, I let x be 0 and I got 2, or letting x be 0, I got negative 2. So, if I draw the lines on here, I got to go through 16, 0. So, if I count by 4, 8, 12, 16, 4, 8, 12, 16. It goes through 16, 0, and 0, 2, and 0, minus 2. And you can start seeing a pattern reflect about the x, but not the y. So this is symmetric with the x-axis symmetry, because the y, it doesn't care whether you have plus or minus numbers for y, it'll give the same result because the y is squared. And there is no y-axis symmetry because you'll get different answers from x when x is positive or negative, because x positive and negative give different values. So it's going to look different on this side of the y-axis than on this y side, and it's going to look the same vertically. Now, with only those 3 points, it's pretty hard to graph, so we might want to get some more points. So I'm going to put in 8 for x and negative 8 for x. If I put in 8 for x, what do I get for y? Well, that would be 8 plus 4y squared equals 16. Subtract 8 and I get 4y squared equals 8. And divide by 4 and I get y squared equals 2. So it's plus or minus the square root of 2. So that's 2 points. And I said get at least 3, so I'm going to put in negative 8. If I put a negative 8 here and add 8 to both sides, I'm going to get 4y squared equals 24. Divide by 4 and I get y squared equals 6. So I'm going to get plus or minus the square root of 6. And those points should help me get answers for the graph. At 8, the square root of 2 is 1.4, or about 1.5. And negative 1.5, negative 1.4. And at negative 8, I'm going to have square root of 6, which is 2.4-ish. Oh, that's 4. That's 4. So 2.4-ish is somewhere here. And it'll be down here. And so what I really have is a really skinny sideways parabola. Okay. Number 3. So I'd have the point negative 6, 3, and I want to find the equation of a line with no y-intercept. So it can't hit the y-axis, so the line's going to have to go like that, and a line like this, every x value is negative 6, and so it's x equal negative 6 is the equation. Number 4. If I write it in standard form, it's x minus the coordinate of the center, which was 4, squared, plus y minus the coordinate for the center, which is a minus 2, which makes minus 2 or plus 2, squared, equals the radius, which I said was 6, squared. And I can write 36 there also, and that would be the standard form. Now to get the general form, we multiply this out. Now x minus 4 times x minus 4 is x squared minus 8x plus 16. And then this multiplied out would be y squared plus 4y plus 4 equals the 36. Don't forget it. Now to get it in general form, we get it equal to 0. So we got x squared plus y squared minus 8x's plus 4y's. And then we have 20 on this side, and subtract 36 from both sides, so it would make minus 16 on this side equals 0. And I put those three numbers together to make the minus 16. Okay, number 5. So I have this, and since if this is minus 4, I get minus 8. If this is 2, I get 4. I get twice as much here as the center is. Twice as much here as the center is. So the center has to be at, see, this would be x minus plus 2 squared. So the center's got to be at minus 2. And it's y half of negative 1 is negative 1/2. So the center's at the opposite of negative 1/2 is 1/2. There's the center. And that equals r squared. Now if I multiply this out, I get x squared plus 4x plus 4 plus y squared minus 1y plus 1/4 equals r squared. Now they said if you have this on this side, you have 10 on the other side. Well, we have this and this are those. So the 4 and the negative 1/4 need to go to the other side to make the 10. So if I subtract 4 and subtract 1/4 from both sides, in other words, subtract 4 and 1/4 from both sides, this is what the 10 is made of. So I've got r squared minus 4 1/4 equals 10. So if I add 4 1/4 to both sides, I know what r squared is, and that's 14 1/4. So here is the standard form where I've replaced r squared with that. And if that's r squared, the radius is the square root of 14 1/4, which is almost 4, 3.8-ish. 3.8 or 0.9, I'm just estimating. So I'm going to have about a 4 unit radius centered at minus 2 plus 1/2. So I'll use a little bit lower line here, and I'll move the y-axis over a little bit so I got a little bit more room to work on with the center at minus 2 1/2, where I'm using 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Minus 2 1/2. and a radius of about 3, 1, 2, 3, and then a 0.8, 1, 2, 3.8-ish. And from a half, I got to go up 1, 2, 3.8-ish, and 1, 2, 3.8-ish, and draw my circle. So that's approximately the circle. Okay?